Okay, this is my list. So I'm gonna first determine why this is what each title means. S tier means God tier. You gotta use it. If you miss with this, if you can't get a kill with this weapon, you're trash, and you probably play on a Game Boy or some type of device like that. A tier is near best, but there's something wrong with it. B tier is great. C tier is good. D is decent. E is terrible. F is whoever made this gun, whoever designed this concept, should honestly jump off their house and land in dog crap. Alright, cool. So now that we got that out of the way and defined what each one means, in fact, I'll be even nice to just put down a little text in there saying what they are. Actually, I just realized I don't care, and you go look in the description if you really care that much. Okay, first is RPG. RPG, it one shots, it has a bigger radius, only one bullet, you can rocket jump. I want to put this on the good tier. It's a good weapon. It's not terrible. On certain maps, it is terrible. Okay, high power pistol. Large mag capacity, fires really fast, spread kind of gets wacky, it gets okay damage. I'm going to consider this as a decent. It's not too terrible, but it's not the best either. Makarov, easily one of the best guns in the game. I'm going to consider this as one of the great guns in the game because it doesn't get a best because if it had a larger mag capacity, yeah, it almost has no spread, no recoil, and does really good damage, and you can spam it fast. Spencer Carbine, you can double jump with it, one shots in the head, and no spread and no recoil. Reload is kind of long. You gotta have the aim fit, so I'm gonna consider that as one of the great guns. Kriegel, easily an S tier weapon. No spread, no recoil, large mag capacity, one shots in the head, two shots on the body. Super Ball, one of the better weapons because I'm like you can't really miss with it. And I mean, like, it does 60 damage. The only drawback is travel time, and it can't drop off. Melees are just, I'm going to consider them as decent. I mean, like, to be honest, guys, you can't really judge them. It just depends on the circumstance. But I'm going to put them in decent because compared to guns, they're mostly overall better than guns. Crossbow, one shots on the head, has 16 bolts, and it can one shot on the body at, like, ranges above 30, I think. So I'm going to consider this as a good weapon. You know, it's not great because of the drawback it has of just one shot, but it does reload fairly fast. Okay, next up is going to be the baseball launcher. Well, I'm going to consider this as a decent one. It does like 60 damage at long range, 40 up close, and like it has 10 shots, so pretty good and quick reload as well. Rocket launcher, this is different from the RPG because it has 4 shots. So I'm gonna consider this as a good weapon, I guess. I'm like, it has 4 shots. It can one shot on direct contact or right around the corner, but it can't one shot as much as the RPG does from the range. G3 S61, I'm like, you can spam this. We're not gonna factor into no crosshair because that's kind of dumb. As in just terms of stats, this is actually really good. It has 20 shots, it one shots in the head, 3 shots at body. So I'm gonna consider this as one of the great weapons. Barrette, easily a best near weapon. The only reason why I'm not giving it a god tier is because of slow walk speed on it, and that kind of throws off your aim. M40 sucks. I'm gonna put this at around a E. I'm like, it's bad. I'm like, it's bolt action, 2 shots. And because it's bolt action and it's kind of slow, so that's why I'm going to give it a, it's kind of bad. Railgun, probably around an A tier as well because it can't go through people in one shots and you have a crosshair. MS556, like this one, you can spam it pretty good. It is bolt, but you can spam it a lot more faster than an M40. The only drawback is the magazine, so I'm going to put this at a B as well. Op, I'm like, it one shots in the body. Same thing with the Barrette. I don't know if I mentioned that. You don't need a headshot. I want to put this at a good tier. The reason why it's not going to get the best because Barrette, you can spam that off. You can't spam that, but you don't typically need to worry about that. Minigun sucks. I'm going to put this at around a decent one. Because the rev up time and you go up so slow and the damage is just so low for a minigun. Even assault rifles do more one shot. So because of that, it's going to get a decent. Yes, you can spam it, but I don't really care about that. MG42. Easily one of your best weapons. The only reason why I'm not giving it a god tier is because you go slow with it and the magazine capacity is kind of short, but you typically don't need to worry about that because, well, you get a kill within a quarter of a second. M14, M1A1 Carbine, and M1A1 Paratrooper, they're all the same crap. I'm going to put them in the decent list. I'm like, they're not terrible, but as soon as you send out more than 3 shots, the spread goes to whack. M1 Grand, I mean, like, this weapon is, I guess, better than those, but I would consider this more of a decent one. These 4 here do 1 shot on the head, but the spread goes to whack if you spam it, if you send out more than 3 shots. And the M1 Grand only has 8 shots compared to these, which have 20. But I would not consider them as great weapons, just decent weapons. Henry rifle, I'm like, this one has no spread, no recoil. And I'm like, it 1 shots in the head and does 60 damage. The reload is kind of slow for a bullet fed. A bullet when you load it into the side of the chamber. So because of that, I'm like, I would consider this as a decent one. I was gonna consider it as great, but it's actually just decent. AKM is probably one of the more greater assault rifles. Really good control and high damage as well. AK-74 is almost the exact same as an AKM, just a tad bit lower in damage. They both do have 30 bullets. Trench shotgun, easily a god tier weapon you gotta have. You can use this at long range, and it's a shotgun. 1 shot's up close. Pump shotgun, I'm like, this does like 25 damage at further ranges and can 1 shot close. And reload is very fast. Fire rate is very fast. I would consider this as one of the, I guess, good weapons. Not great weapons. Yeah, great. It's going to get a great. Lever shotgun, this one's going to get one of the great ones because you can double jump with it, and it's still 1 shots up close, so that's very good. Spas 12 sucks. Spas 12, it can't 1 shot directly on a body despite all the bullets going to it. You can't do that, but the spread is really good, and I'm like, you can spam it, so I'm going to give this a good tier. I would give it a great tier or a best tier if it didn't have the ability to just not 1 shot on the body. Okay, next up is double shotgun. You can fly in the air with this, and you can 1 shot up close with just a single shot, and you can fire both at the same time. So I'm going to give this at around, it's a great weapon all around. Double shotgun is one of the best, but I would not give it a god tier because it can't have more than 2 bullets, so because of that, because of the low magazine capacity, it's going to get that. It does have a crosshair, it does have a sight, so because of that, it gets one of the best slots in this tier list. XM1014, this weapon is kind of I'm like, yes, you can spam it. I would consider this par with the Spas 12, because I'm like, yes, it can 1 shot up close, but the spread on it is a bit worse compared to the Spas 12. And you can't really spam it as fast, I guess. Next up is the Mag 7. I'm like, Mag 7, it kind of takes a while to pump it. And when you draw it out, yeah, you got to pump the action as well. But it can 1 shot up close, and it is a mag-fed shotgun. So I'm going to consider this as a decent one. Compared to these, you can just spam away, while the Mag 7, you got to pump it. This one is a Tommy gun. I would consider this as one of the more decent weapons. I'm like, yes, you can spam it. Yes, it has good recoil, it has decent damage, but the fire rate is kind of slower, and because of that, it's going to get a decent one. Uzi, I'm like, it's a good weapon, and the only reason why I'm not going to give it more is because the spread can go to whack, but definitely not as terrible compared to these guns right here. So because of that, it gets a good tier. This is an M3 grease gun. I'm going to give this around a great weapon. It's not going to get the best because it has a low magazine capacity, and it kind of fires super slow, but that's in trade-off for a good control and good damage as well. MP9S, easily a god tier weapon. Easily a god tier weapon, bro. You can spam this and still have amazing control. It's silenced, it does good damage, and has 32 bullets, and it fires extremely fast. Easily a god tier weapon. MP5K, spread goes to whack when you spam it, but I'm like, at close ranges, it destroys and can kill a person in like less than half a second. So it's going to get one of the great slots on here. Next up is going to be MP7. MP7 sucks. It just takes an extremely a long amount of time to reload, and the spread on it is horrible, even at close range sometimes, and the reload is just ass. So I'm going to give that a bad tier. UMP45, I'm like, this is better than the MP7, but it still has the same problem with the spread, but it does do more damage. And I'm going to give it a decent one. It does have 25 rounds compared to the MP7, which only holds 20. That's terrible. Deagle, easily one of the best guns in the game. Easily one of the best guns in the game. It 1 shots to the head, good control, bad recoil, but it does not affect your spread. and it can two-shot in the body, and you can spam it as well. In 191, it's decent. I'm like, the spread goes to whack when you spam it, and it only has 7 bullets, and it can't two-shot in the head, but because of the low mag capacity and the bad control, it's going to get a D tier. Golden Gun, I'm going to put this at around a good tier. I'm not going to put it at a best tier. I'm like, you could argue that, yes, it's the best weapon in one shot, but the reload is super long, and you only get 2 shots and 1 shot per chamber. Okay, P250, I'm going to consider this as a decent, no, as a good weapon. Now, hear me out. I know it does 14 damage on the body, but it does like 40 on the head, and it has really good spread. Tech 9, probably one of the greater weapons in here. You can spam it, devastate at close range, and get some good damage at long ranges, despite the spread kind of not being that great. Hush Puppy is one of the more decent guns. I'm like, yes, has 0 spread and good control, but I'm like, you gotta pull the slide back every time, so that kind of sucks on the fire rate part. Luger has a tiny bit of recoil, but no spread. And I mean, like, it only has 8 shots, but because of that, it kind of throws you off with the spread part and a tiny bit of recoil. So because of that, it's gonna get decent. It only has 8 shots, and yeah, okay. Windicator sucks. Whoever made this shit up in dog crap. Yes, it can reload fast. Yes, it one shots in the head. But as soon as you fire off a shot, congratulations, you gotta wait a full second. And if you try to fire more, you gotta wait 3 seconds. If you try to fire more, congratulations, you're most likely dead already. Pepper gun, I mean. This is probably one of the good weapons in there. Right click with it, you go full spammy, but that's kind of a game of chance you're playing right there. You only get 6 shots, reload is fairly quick, and yeah, Peacemaker, this is the Peacemaker, no wait, this is Dual Volcanics. This is kind of one of the more bad weapons. If it were to have at least better spread control, I would give this, a great tier or a good tier, but because it has terrible spread control, it's gonna get a near bad weapon grading. Okay, Peacemaker is gonna par out with Peacemaker. With Pepper Gun, and I'm like, can't one shot in the head, but when you try and like control it, you go super slow. So that's why it kind of sucks. M9, I'm gonna consider this as a decent weapon. The spread kind of goes to whack when you spam it. It does have a large mag capacity though, don't get me wrong, and decent damage, but because of that spread factor, yeah, no thanks. Glock 17 is one of the good weapons. It has no spread. It's just that it requires 5 body shots, and that kind of is gruesome for a pistol. And 4 headshots. 4 headshots. If it was 2, probably would be, more in the greater section or near best, but it doesn't. Laser rifle is one of the more greater weapons, I guess. The only drawback is that it has a long reload. It does have no spread, no recoil, and 60 shots, and it does juicy damage. Next up is going to be the Potassium Power. This one is decent. Of course, it destroys at close range, but at long ranges, it's crap in it, and you go through 15 bullets really fast, like in 1 second. M14 EBR only has 20 rounds. It does have a sight. I would consider this more as of a decent weapon because of the low magazine capacity. MK18, it pretty much does the same damage as the M14 EBR, but has 10 more bullets. It's going to get around one of the greater weapons because of the 10 more bullet factor, and it fires a lot faster than the M14 EBR. AUG is one of the near best weapons in the game, and the reason for that is because the spread is like almost non-existent for an automatic weapon, and it has 30 rounds. M44 kind of sucks. I'm going to put this at around the good weapons. when you send out more than 5 shots, the spread gets very hard to control. It can 3-shot in the head though, so that's why it's going to stay around there. M1682 is the one with the noob tube, and it's also a burst. It's okay. I'm going to give this around at a good tier list. It's good, but definitely not one of the best because of the burst. But it does have that noob tube to help you out. And finally on our list to complete it is going to be the M681. M681, it has good spread, good control, good damage. The only drawback is a low magazine capacity. So it's going to par up with the C section. Unlike the M14 EBR, M14 kind of has a bit more spread compared to the M681, so they both almost have identical stats except for the spread. The M681 is superior in that section, and I think that is it. Hold on, let me double check. I believe that is it. I think I got every single one. The Spencer Carbine is in there. I got all the layers visible, and I think we are successful in our little mission right there. I'm not gonna include Link Sword or Trowel. They just don't belong there. Yeah, so those are all the weapons in Arsenal put onto a list. There might be some more, but those are like for devs, reserves, or something like that. But yes, that's my complete tier list review of Arsenal. And I mean, like, overall, I'm pretty juicy with it. Okay, thanks for watching me rant through the entire video. And I knew every single weapon by just looking at the icon. I didn't even need to read the wiki for it.